Good evening. We have got a fabulous one-day special, but also we are still part of the Flextravaganza, this amazing event that allows you to spread the cost in interest-free payments, even in items. As long as they're £5 or more, you can spread the cost into interest-free payments. And that is the ones that are featuring during the live hours or anything that you can find on the Hochanda website. Right, one-day special, well, clarity, fresh cuts. Now, nearly 20% of the stock has gone. Now, it is the beautiful Christmas Windows Aperture Day collection. Now, with clarity, we have got an amazing guest coming up. Joining us through Skype, Paul Church. How are you?
Good evening, Paula. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very well. I adore this collection. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about this collection?
So what we're looking at here as part of the one-day special is 5 beautiful Aperture window dies. And although we've called them the Christmas dies, you can use them for various different occasions. I mean, the Madonna and the Child is perfect for a christening or a newborn baby. You've got the star, you've got the doves, you've got the candles for celebrations, the beautiful dove as well. Again, you could use those for sympathy cards because we need to make cards like that on occasion. And for me, the versatility, the beautiful stained glass effect of them, and it allows you to die cut into cards, into the parchment. And for me, these are sort of like timeless, elegant designs. They really are.
They are. There is something very, the first time I saw them, I thought they're very serene as well. There is a serenity with these images. And I also think out of a basic card, for instance, the ones that you have brought kindly done for us to show, I mean, just in black onto white is just really stunning. I just think that there is a simplicity that makes it so, I don't know, heartwarming, I would say.
That's right. And one of the reasons behind the whole of the fresh cut designs was that Barbara loved the effect of paper cutting, but obviously it takes time. So you imagine looking at these designs and then having to go around the crook on the shepherd or to do the dangles. I mean, this one here is from the nested arch dies. But to get that precision, I mean, if I was doing that with a knife as paper cutting, some of those strands would no longer be in there.
I know, right? And then, of course, die cutting allows you to create things like apertures, and because we are getting also the matching arch dies, aren't we?
That's right. So you've got the beautiful nested die, so it's perfect for your matting and layering. And you've got that beautiful centerpiece as well. And the little heart droplet was designed by the lovely Jane Nesterenko. So, and Jane loved Christmas, and she was all about the glitter and all that. And so that for really to combine both of those together is sort of like a match made in heaven. It really is.
It is. I just think, I look at them, and especially, I know when you are saying the Madonna and the Child for a christening, for a new baby, it's a very beautiful and powerful image, isn't it?
It is, and it's very classic, isn't it? And again, just by changing the colorways on it, can really change the look and the feel of it as well. I mean, in the previous hour, I was using sort of blues and cool colors, and it just changes the look. But it's the dyes that give you that crisp image every single time.
They do, and I love how this one as well, I love that it has got a little bit more of, I would say, new age kind of sort of feel to it because of the peace and love. So again, it's not religious. This is just, it could be just about, you know, somebody going to Glastonbury sort of a thing.
That's right. And again, and for me, what also brings the designs to life is the beautiful design of paper, the parchment. We've got the 12x12s on the show. We've got an offer on the 8x8 designer parchment. And to me, on the counter, I know you've got a couple of displays where they've been, the inside of the aperture dies have actually been lined with parchment. So if you've got like a battery operated tea light, you get that beautiful translucency on it.
Yeah, we do indeed. And I have to show you this also sample because it's absolutely glorious. Where it has been used with embossing powder, I imagine, and speckled with gold. And it just, there's so many techniques that these dies completely automatically. As soon as I saw them, it's like parchment. I thought about light halides. I thought about acetate and alcohol inks as well. There is so much you can do at home with them. Now you have got a flexi-buy option if you wanted to spread the cost, or of course you know, one-off payment. If you want to flexi-buy 2 payments interest-free, of course, £33.47. But you remember the saving. Now it does say £15 saving. However, these dies individually have got a saving. Is basically you are getting a £3 saving on each of those individual die sets. So actually it carries forward that saving, so it is £33 in total saving. I believe that's the correct figure. And now 675316 is the one-day special, and remember that you have got that flexi-buy option. Now it is beautiful, it is timeless, and also something that is timeless is the Groovi version of these dies. Now if you want to go for them, well, we do have them, and one of them is brand new. So we are going to move to the beautiful Groovi plates that we have got for you. Now, Paul, can you tell us about how do they work together? Do they work together, or shall we use them individually? With how do we go around these plates?
So what we're looking at here, we're looking at the same designs that we've got in the dies, and what you'll notice on the A5 square plates, which fits perfectly into the starter kit, you've got 3 different sizes of the same design. So it allows you to do tags and to get perspective and to take elements from it. And you can use these perfectly alongside using the dies as well. And I know we've got a couple of samples where people have done the parchment and also the dies as well. And in addition to that, when we look at the saving, the £11 saving, you're basically getting the brand new A5 nested arch window die for free, because that's £10.99 on its own. And this has been designed to work perfectly with the die set, the nested dies. And in the first demo, I'm going to show you how you can mix and match and combine the dies with the Groovi system as well.
Indeed. So that one that you were talking about, the brand new, the look at that, it's gorgeous, and that matches that die set as well. Now it is absolutely stunning. I love the words as well that you have got. Now, am I right thinking that the words, although they appear at the bottom of the Groovi plate, they can be positioned anywhere we want them?
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the great things with the Groovi system, is that you can mix and match. You can put the stars in whatever side you want to. You can take the words and you can sort of break them down. You can create beautiful frames with them as well. Again, just pure elegance, and use them with your other Christmas plates as well.
Absolutely. I mean, this is striking. The one with the, you know, the candle. I just think it's so beautiful. I need to tell everybody at home that half of the stock has already gone. And if you want yours, you need to, you know what to do. You need to check out those baskets, 695720. Now, this gorgeous card has no name. Unfortunately, this is so stunning. It's absolutely glorious, the detail in this one. And traditional parching around here. So I love how your design team, Paul, mixes a traditional and the modern and also the ease of Groovi as well.
That's right. And we've always said with the Groovi system is that you can pick and choose the elements of it. I mean, that one there is absolutely cool, and it really illuminates the beautiful stained glass window effect of it, just by using the beautiful pergola pencils to colour in the background.
That one is done by Gail and then by Emma Burns, and here they are beautiful. £35.95 is the price. You're saving, of course, remember that that saving means that you are not paying for the brand new plate here. 695720 is your item number. Then we have got the stamps, also brand new today, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Now, over half the stock has already gone, and it is, oh, I love them. Again, so many different techniques that they inspire. Paul, these ones are, I mean, the design team, you can see they have been superbly inspired by these ones. Look at
That's right. I mean, I think because they're sort of rinky-dinky in size, they're not overwhelming, but it shows that you can make a small card as well as larger cards as well. And a lot of the designs, I mean, that's stamped onto one of our acrylic tags. So again, you get that beautiful shimmer of the stained glass window effect. Absolutely gorgeous.
But look, pattern building as well. That's just beautiful. And then look.
Exactly. And not necessarily just for Christmas. I mean, that could be for Valentine's, it could be anniversary.
Absolutely.
It's just a sentiment that you would change.
And look, I adore this one. There's so many different ways of using it, and of course I want to show a canvas that is here. I have got it here, but look at that beauty. Oh, love that. That's small but just gorgeous. £14.99. You're saving £5. 254177 is the item number for this gorgeous stamps. Now, Paul, are you ready for the demo?
I am indeed.
All right, take it away.
Thank you very much. So I thought what we'll do, we'll have a look at the dies and in the way in which they work. And just to give you some ideas and some inspiration on what you could do with them. So if you was to cut out the die as it comes, it retains it within the actual card blank. So this is a 6x6 card blank. I could do it on a 5x5, a 7x7, an 8x8. And what it does, when we call it an aperture die, it keeps it within that card blank. Now inside this one, what I've done, I've taken a piece of our 12x12 designer papers and cut it in half to create a beautiful luxury insert. Because for me, at Christmas, you want to spend that little bit more time if you're going to send it to someone special. So again, just by changing the color tones, will give them a completely different look. So again, I mean, I've done these on black because I love the silhouette type of effect on it, but you could do it in craft cards, you can do it in white cards, and it really does sort of change the way in which they look. So again, you've got the beautiful pinks behind there, you've got the beautiful Madonna and Child, and again, I mean, for me, this particular design, if I hold this up higher to the camera, for me that looks like a marble effect.
It does.
So it looks, doesn't it? And for me, again, it's the designer papers and the parchment that for me really illuminates and really sort of brings them to life, and to make quick and easy cards as well. I mean, this one here, the beautiful glow of the designer paper behind. And if you wanted to, you could go with the softer side of it to get another completely different look. So that's just to show you how you can make some really quick and easy cards for Christmas or for whatever other occasion. But then with our dies, like most of the designs we bring you, we have, excuse me, we have what we call snippability. Right? Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Okay. So you can see here what we've done is we've die cut it, and then using the nested frames as well, created the panel. But then as you start to take away the different layers, you can see the different elements that you can take from it. So you can use the candle just on its own. If I wanted to, I could get rid of the outside of that. So then it becomes, you could do several candles for a birthday. The peace and love, again, you have that flexibility of breaking it all down. So when you look at the designs, don't think, that's all I can do with it. Play around with it. We always say that if you just die cut it onto a piece of copy paper and get the scissors out and sort of chop it up, and it's amazing the different things that you can find. One of my favourite ones is the beautiful shepherds. And in the 8 o'clock show tomorrow morning, I'm going to decoupage this one up because for me, it's fantastic for doing that because of the different layers. So again, not just for your cards, but also for creating images. So that's just to give you a few ideas on what you could do with them and just the various different layouts and configurations. So if we have a recap of what we did in the 6 o'clock show when we launched them, you can see here, this was the first demo I did. And I took my inspiration from a card that Jane Telford had made. So we've got that beautiful crisp design with the gorgeous Antarctica designer papers behind. And then I've incorporated the stamp set as well. So again, it all ties in. So if you want to see how that one was done, you can watch on rewind from the 6 o'clock show. Then this is where the dies cross over with the Groovi and the parchment. So again, in the 6 o'clock show, I showed you how the Groovi plate works with the parchment and the dies, and I'm going to recap that on a different design in this hour as well. And then the final one that we did in the 6 o'clock show was another one, inspiration from Jane, was creating this beautiful panel effect. Again, just using the stamps, but you could take elements from the dies and embellish that as well. So I'll just pop these to one side so it gives me a little bit more space. Now, when I saw the samples coming in from the design team, this was one that really sort of jumped out to me. So this was one that Debs McMullen created. And again, it combines the beautiful dies with the stamps. So it shows that crossover between the stamps, the dies, and what I'm going to do is also incorporate the Groovi into it as well now. So this is where we're heading for this particular demo. But what I've done to start with, I've taken a piece of the beautiful Indian summer designer parchment, and I've just sort of cut it down to a small square. So we've got the Indian summer and the Northern Lights on the show, and we've got these at a special price as well. So to start off with, I've cut this down, and I'm going to bring in the Groovi plate that comes in the bundle. So this is brand new. Okay. And I'm just going to use my Groovi tabs to hold it in place. And then I'm going to take my tumble dry sheet and just wipe over. I'm working on the shiny side. Okay, and it will all become clear. So you can use the plate if you're just into your parchment. This is a beautiful design for doing your matting and layering. But it's been designed also to work with the dies. As I showed you that blue card where you can die cut the actual shape first, and then you bring in and you put that beautiful white line around it to create the frame. Okay.
Perfect.
So what we're going to do first is I'm going to position this onto my plate mate, and I'm going to have a look and think, right, whereabouts do I want? What I'm looking for is the first set of double lines outside of the actual design in the middle.
Yeah.
So we shall tape that down so it doesn't move around. And the A5 plate, this one, fits in the calligraphy plate mate, which we also have on the show. Then I'm going to take my number 1 tool, and all I'm going to do is push into the grooves of the outer frame. Okay, nice and easy. And if I jump out of the groove, then it doesn't matter because it's only going to go exactly where I need it to go. So now when we turn this over, we now get that beautiful crisp white line. So because I'm going to do the die cutting with the dies, I found it easier to put this in place first rather than die cut the parchment, and then you've got all the bits and pieces. It's harder then to wipe on the back.
And can I ask a question, Paul?
Of course you can.
By doing that, won't the machine flatten out those lines, or they will still stand?
They still stand. It's amazing. Despite the pressure, it doesn't seem to affect the embossed line art on it at all.
Okay.
Very magical. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to bring in my plates from my die cutting machine. So these will work in all leading die cutting machines. And then I've got my nested squares here, arches, and I'm going to take the beautiful design from the middle. And because it's the same size as what's on the Groovi plate, I know that that frame is going to work perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to use a Groovi tab just to hold that in place whilst we run it through the machine. And I just wanted to show you this bit. I mean, I know people know how to pop a die through a machine, but I just wanted to show it just so it becomes clear in case you're thinking, oh, what is a die cutting machine? So while that's running through, it's all about mixing and matching the different types of crafting. So we're showing now how we're using the parchment with the dies, with the grooving. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we'll carefully remove that Groovi tab. Okay, he says, there we go, pop that to one side, and then I can remove that die, and look, I've got that beautiful, I'm going to just pop that to one side. Isn't that gorgeous?
That's beautiful. And I love how crisp the cut, even on parchment, is. It just kind of gives that bevel edge as well.
That's right, and what I love, let me bring a piece of white card in place, because you'll really then see the colour of the parchment. And again, with the parchment, depending on the colourway, completely, it just changes the look of it. And again, I've got that snippability. If I wanted to remove the words peace and love, I can still do that. Or if I wanted to go in and do a little bit of white work on the heart, I can still do that. So it's all about having that versatility. And with the dies, I mean, when we launched the Pico dies, that was when it really sort of crossed over between the two different types of crafting. I want to put this onto a card, just like Debs has done, and Debs has used the Toscana paper, okay? So you can see that obviously with paper, it's easy to stick down because you won't see any glue.
Right.
But with parchment, you've got that translucency, so you've got that possibility of a tape runner showing through. So I could use brads to attach it, which we've got on the show, but I thought I'd go with my corner punches. So I'm going to use, we've got the corner punches on the show, there's 4 different designs, and I'm going to go with this particular design here. And then I'm just going to push into the corner and create the first corner of my design. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in my cutting mat. Just pop that to one side. And then all I'm going to do is feed that in like that. And you could do this with the paper as well. It's not just for parchment. Okay.
And can you do like a border with them? Am I right thinking that?
Yes. Absolutely. On one of the previous shows, a couple of weeks back, I showed you how you could create a frame and a border as well.
Perfect.
So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my Pergamano ruler that's got the Groovi grip on it. And the Groovi grip just stops it sliding around. Okay, especially when we're working on parchment. And then I'm going to take my craft knife and then just trim off the excess. Okay, and again we'll turn that round, and I'm using the grid lines on the ruler to line up with the whiteness of the card, so I know that it's going to be a straight line. Perfect. Okay, and then we'll trim off that part there. So we've now got our piece, so we'll pop that over there and we'll bring this back in, and then I can do opposite corners, or I can do all 4 corners. Okay, and you just push in to that corner to create your photo corners. Okay, so now when I take my piece of parchment, that then pops into there, just like that, and it holds it perfectly in place.
That's perfect.
So then what I've done, I'm going to take a piece of card, and I've got the lovely candle stamp. So there's 6 different designs, and what we're going to do, again, crossing over by taking, we've used the dies, we've used the Groovi, and now we're going to use the stamp. So we're going to pop that down in place. This is just a scrap of white card. Okay, so we're just going to press that down. I've got a beautiful, crisp image now. And then I'm taking my pergoliner pencils, so I've gone with like an orange, a brown and a green, and then I've got a copper polychromo just to add a little bit to it. And then all I'm going to do is just add some colour, and I'm going on very, very lightly with my colour just to add a little bit of depth to it. Again, I could stamp this onto designer card, I could stamp it on the parchment as well. and then remove some of the colour or do some white work on it. But you can see you just start to sort of build it up. And then what I've done, I went with the copper to add a little bit of darkness into the top of it, just to sort of break it down. So it gives a really nice sort of effect of sort of shading. Okay, so that when you've done that, you then end up with that. Okay, so if I hold that, let's bring it in on this camera, see if we can sort of see that. So you can see we've got that beautiful shading, and that copper one just gives it a little bit of a shimmer to it.
That's gorgeous.
Okay. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my tape runner and just pop that on the back. I can position that just in the middle, like that. And then if I take my craft card blanks, because of the colours I've used, I can pop that on there. And then that's my, whoops, if I look at the right camera, then that's my interpretation of the inspiration I took from Deb's.
That is gorgeous because it shows how the Groovi plates, the dies, the stamps, everything coordinates beautifully and very elegantly as well. Right, Paul.
I think sorry, I was going to say, I think the parchment gives it that elegance and the translucency, and it gives it a completely different look to card or paper.
Absolutely, Paul. While you reset for the next demo, I'm going to give a reminder of the one-day special. Now, of course, Paul is joining us through Skype for the demonstrations, but the one-day special is beautiful. It is stunning because it does have that timeless elegance. Over 20% of the one-day special has gone already, and that's the stock that should last the 24 hours. It is an exquisite designs. They are the sort of designs that you are going to use time and time again, and not just for Christmas. I think there is a very serene look at the season. This is the Cathedral Windows. This is a glorious stained glass that from centuries old, or maybe it's something a bit more modern, if you depending which colors you are using for these projects. This is the same die that, of course, Paul was using there, and you can see that this is around, I think, 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches, but the same die into a smaller card as well. That size as well is a lot. It has to be said that it's such a versatile size, because as crafters, we want to be able to bring in as many possible creative outlets, with the different sizes. And this showcases perfectly that it is the perfect size. The beautiful artwork as well. Think about stamping onto acetate. Think about bringing your glitters from the back. Think about just doing quick and easy cards that will solve your issues at Christmas. Those cards that you don't know what to send, well, you can send peace and love, and this could be for a wedding. It could be for celebration of life. It could be for those situations when those cards we don't want to send, and definitely those ones are the ones that mean the most. Think about using the negative, the waste in here. Now, if you want to go for the one-day special, you're getting 11 dies, including those ones that kind of have the matting and layering arches. 675316 is your item number. £66.94 is the one-off payment. It is £15 saving, but there is, I must say that each die set would have a £3 saving. Now that is carried forward with that additional 15 saving, which means that if you are going for the one-day special, you actually are saving £33. Right, and remember, you can flexify it as well. Now, paper and card. Now this one is the designer paper. Now this one is your Amazonia, or if you are Spanish, you say Amazonia. Right, that one you are getting the 8x8 or the 5x and the 5x7. Now you are getting, of course, the beautiful designer paper in 8x8 and designer card in the 5x7. That's the Amazonia with a saving of £8. And then we have got the Antarctica. Now this one, again, you are getting designer paper in 8x8 and designer card in 5x7. Perfect for your toppers for your cards, perfect for matting and layering. Even if you are, maybe you are a memory book maker, these ones will be stunning. Of course, you have got an £8 saving, £19.97 for the pair of them. Now, if you wanted to go Amazonia, Antarctica, they will come as well with Bar's favorites, and you have got a £22 saving. That's a massive saving. I mean, that is amazing. I mean, £39.92 is the price. And you know what? It gets even better because we are in Flex Extravaganza. So you can split the cost in interest-free payments in two of them. 589644 is your item number for that wonderful bundle of Amazonian paper and Antarctica. I mean, inspired by the colors, right? Right, Paul, are you there?
I am indeed.
Oh, good. So, of course, through Skype, you are going to do the next demonstration?
Absolutely. So I thought for this demo, again, we're going to combine the beautiful stamps with the dies as well. And we're actually going to go with the Amazonian papers and the petite toppers because, again, it can change the look on what you're working on. So this is a card, another inspiration from Jane Telford. So on the front, you've got the beautiful band down the side, and it's got a couple of the stamps on it. But it's when you open it up, you get that beautiful pop-out effect. And with the papers behind it, it really it illuminates it. So you imagine you have this standing open on your mantelpiece, and you have a battery-operated tea light in here, it will really come through. Now, we've put the backing paper in the back. As we can see, if I hold that up, you can see the paper is in the back. But you could put the parchment on the inner side and you'd get that beautiful translucency as well. So I thought what we're going to do it in a different colorway. And I'm going to go with the lovely Amazonia collection. And it's sort of really rich greens and pinks and purples. These are my scraps that I didn't want to throw away, so I've kept those back in there. And we're going to go with this one here. You've got that beautiful sort of landscape, and I've already taken a piece off of there, but this is going to be used for another card. So how do we create the pop-out effect in the middle? Really, really easily. So we've got a 5x5 card blank, which is pre-scored. And what you're going to do is, because it's pre-scored, you're just going to fold it over in half, as if you was going to do your card blank. And then I'll just take my bone folder. And then what you're going to do is, if you've got a scoreboard, you're going to score that in half. But just for ease, I'm just folding it from the open side into the fold. Okay? Okay. So you do that, we turn that over, and then we repeat it on the other side. So this is creating the pop-out effect in the middle of our card. Okay? And it's important that you do the folding first. Now, if I bring my dies in, so I've got my dies in the folders, so I know where to find them, and I can choose any of these designs in the collection. Okay, and for my finished one, I've gone with the shepherds. Okay, so we'll take that out, just pop that to one side. And it's at this point, because we've got that fold in the middle, it allows you to line the die up so that you know when you've die cut it, it's going to be in the right position. Rather than take a piece of card and think, oh, where is the middle, and measuring it. The measuring's all been done by doing the folding. So when you cut it out, this is what you end up with. Okay? Nice and easy. And again, it works with so many of the different designs. That's so when beautiful. We fold it up, we can see then that we've got that lovely design. Okay, so I've taken the beautiful Amazonia paper and I've gone with this one. It looks like a lake effect, and I thought this was perfect to go with the design. And then all we're going to do is take a little bit of double-sided tape, and I'm only going on the open ends. I don't want to put glue all round because the card needs to move. And then we're going to make sure it's the right way up, pop that into the fold, and then close our card. So that's now created a beautiful background. Okay? Then all I'm going to do now is take my tape runner, and I'm going to go, it's like a square bracket. I don't need to go all the way down the side. It's just these areas here, which are key. Okay. And then you're going to place that onto there, line it up, and press down. And then repeat the process on the other side. There we go. So that is how quick and easy it is to create a pop-out card. And you get that beautiful flip. So you're going to get a nice design on the front, but then when you open it, you've then got that lovely surprise of the design in the middle. Then what I did, I stamped out onto a piece of copy paper to work out my positioning, so to see where I need to do my stamping. So I took a piece of the same paper that I cut off the top, and then I stamped out the lovely doves, because I thought these would work really well on the front. And then I've used my pergolina pencils to add some colour, exactly like we did on the previous card, and I've chosen colours that sort of tie in with the backing paper. And then all we're going to do is attach that to the front of our card. Okay, so we're going to line that up just there. I'm going to do it from the top, because I did make it a little bit longer so that I got a nicer fit. And then if I take a pair of scissors, I can then trim off the excess. So again, it's another way of showing you how you can use the stamps. Now in the previous hour, I showed you how you can create a faux panel by masking off. So you could do exactly the same on the front as well. It's all about having that versatility of doing different things with it. So we've got the inside of the card, and again, what you could do is take some scraps and pop those on the inside as well to tie that in. But then it just needs a little sentiment just to finish it off, don't you think, Paola?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So I'm going to bring in my Christmas stickers, which we've got on the show. Now, if I wanted to stamp a sentiment on there, I would need to do my stamping before I assembled, because it's an uneven surface. So we can have a look in here. So we've got celebrations and Christmas. So I think we'll just go, keep it simple, and we'll just go Merry Christmas. So these are great for, I love working with these, not only with the dies, but also with the parchment as well. And then we can pop that down there, and we've got our quick and easy card. So you can see, this is what Jane did, yeah. And then just by changing the colours and the designs in the middle, you get a completely different look.
Paul, can I ask you a question? Is the papers from Antarctica the ones that Jane used?
I would say yes, because you've got that beautiful, cool colourway. So yeah, they were from the Antarctica collection.
They are absolutely beautiful, and they work so well, the kind of the greens and the blues together, so I love them. Now, we will be back rejoining Paul on a Skype in a few minutes, but I wanted to remind everybody of the brand new stamps. Of course, you can see them here. They are beautiful, aren't they? They are the brand new today, and they correspond the same artwork. However, they are smaller in size, so it means that you can bring them in where the dies don't fade, or maybe you have got the Groovi plates and you want to put kind of a reference towards it. It's like a cathedral or a big beautiful church. It has got the beautiful big windows, and they have got the delicate, exquisite detail in the smaller ones as well. You want to have the full collection, and you can have it with these gorgeous clear stamps. I love how fine detail they are. Perfect for coloring, perfect for adding that kind of shading if you wanted to. Think about stamping and coloring over, beautiful designer papers. Think about making the focal point. Think about larger cards or the smaller projects. It's not just the one thing that you can do with these ones. Think about bringing the dies in, so creating matting and layering, and then using other, kind of background stamps in there. The size of them allow you to create onto a DL size card a triplet of them. Triplets, not triptych, because it doesn't fold away. And then look at that. creating a geometric background perfect for home decor. And it's not at all a window from a cathedral. Then it becomes something a bit more, you know, kind of almost like inspired by love and peace. And look at that, how you can incorporate all three of them. That beautiful maternal, the Madonna looking at Jesus, and then you have got the peace and love and the dove. Oh, I need to show you this one. This one is beautiful. This one is done by Jane Telford, and it's upside down. Here it is. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now, nearly 60% of the stock has already gone. If you want to yours, the number you need, 254177, £14.99 is the price with a £5 saving. Now, Paul joining us through Skype, are you there?
I am indeed.
Right, so carry on if you want the next demonstration.
Thank you very much. So for the final demo of this hour, we're going to get groovy. The lovely Karen Jackson has created this beautiful piece of artwork. And again, with the groovy system, it allows you to, depending on what level you're at, to incorporate other elements in it as well. Now, this has got holly at the top, which has been taken from another plate. But if you was to take that holly off, that could be a birthday card, it could be a christening card, just a general celebration, a baptism or a christening. So again, have a look at the designs and think, right, okay, well, I like this and I want to mix and match them. So to create the actual basis of this, what we've done is we've used our Pico squares and circles. So let me bring this into play. Let's pop the lovely card to one side. So we've got our Pico squares, which we've die cut the piece of parchment from, and then we've used the plate to put the frame in. But before you put the square in, you need to use the Pico circle plate to put the circle in first, okay? Because it's all about, this is if you were stamping, you would stamp the circle first, mask it off, and then stamp the square around the outside. So that's how Karen's created the actual frame for this. And then what we're going to do, I've got the beautiful candles in the plate mate, which comes in the starter kit. And we're just going to hold that in place with a Groovi tab. And then we can look at the design and decide exactly where we're going to position our candle. And you can do this for all of the different designs that are on the show. Okay, so we're going to hold that in place. So if you're new to Groovi and you're thinking, well, what's Groovi all about? It's parchment craft made easy. That's the way I look at it. And then all we're going to do is just trace out the actual design. I mean, if you want to, you could just do the arch, and you've got that beautiful new plate in the collection as well, which is great for your sort of matting and layering because it works perfectly with the dies. See, and you just follow through, and these are quick and easy to do. They're very simple but elegant designs.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, Paul, that these ones, probably, if even for a Groovi is easy for everybody, but for a beginner, these ones would be one of the easiest ones to start off with in the Groovi journey.
Absolutely, and it is because, again, as I've said before, you don't need to think about what you're doing. The thinking's been done for you in relation to the design. Okay, so now what we can do, that's the design exactly traced out, but again, you can choose different elements. And then if I move it over, I've then got the other size candles. So I can line that up, and then I can pop the next one in, okay? Or you can just leave it exactly how it is. So here's one where it's already been sort of traced out with the other two candles in there, okay? So again, if you was using the designer parchment, you wouldn't need to apply any colour. So again, if you think, oh, I really like them, but I'm not into my colouring in, then do this on the designer parchment that we've got on the show, and you haven't got to worry about colouring in at all. But if you wanted to do some colouring in, then this is where the pergaliner pencils come into play. So you can take a selection of the B pencils, so you can go with yellow, you can go with purple, depending on what you're going to put behind it. So Karen has actually used the beautiful new, I think this one is from the Antarctica collection.
They're beautiful.
In the background. So again, choose your backing paper first before you colour in, because for me, you'll colour something in and then you'll struggle to find a background. So if you find a background first, then you can tie the colours in with it. It's a lot easier to do it that way. So we'll just do a tiny little bit of colour. How are we doing for time, Paola?
You have got about 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okie dokie. So when I'm colouring in, I'm just going on very, very lightly with my pencil, because I don't need to get a solid colour. And it doesn't matter, because I'm working on the back, it doesn't matter about going over those lines, okay, because I want all of this area to be yellow to start with. Okay, and then I'm going to take my blending nibs, and I happen to have a yellow one already, which is handy. Okay. So I've got to use a new one. Then into my blending pen, which also on the show. And then I'm going to put a little bit of Dorso oil
and is
onto
that
my sponge.
The one that has got a beautiful orange smell?
Orangey, so it does indeed, yes. So I can pick up some oil and then just sort of blend in that colourway. And what it does, it smooths out and spreads the pigment. Okay. And if you go over the outer lines, you can take an eraser pencil and you can rub it out. But it's all about sort of just working with what you've got and just breaking it down. Okay, so we turn that over, and if I put my hand behind it, you can see now how it's starting to sort of here where it hasn't blended yet, but now we've got that beautiful solid colourway. Okay, so that's just a little bit on the colouring, and here's one that Karen's done for me as well. So she's filled in. Let me get a white piece of
Paul,
paper.
I have a question. The Dorso oil comes with the Dorso crayons. Can we do the same technique with the crayons as we have done with the pergaliners?
Absolutely. Yeah, basically with the crayons, what you would do is you would scribble the crayon out onto one of our Pergamano mix mats, put some oil onto the mat, and then you can mix the colours and you can get a beautiful blend of different colourways as well. Good. And then you use your blending pen to pick it up to colour in as well. Good. That's if you want to do smaller areas.
Good. Thank you for answering that question. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, not at all. It's good to ask. So then we can go with this and just put it onto, if I grab, for example, the Amazonia paper pad, I could just go through here and I can go, right, what one am I going to pop it with? Now, I would have already have chosen the design I'm going to go with already, but you can just see, I mean, this is one of my favourite colourways in this pack. But you've got two different sides to it as well. And you can have a look and see that one works gorgeous, the beautiful oranges in there. And again, it just changes the look of how you want to do. So again, you could stop at this point and pop this onto your card and the job's done. But what Karen's done, she's used our basic grids to create a pattern within there. So if I hold this up, you'll see how she's created sort of an infill around the outside, but also filled in the actual candle bases as well. So to do that, what we're going to do is, if I find my plate mate, which is hiding, there we go. I've got my plate mate. Pop that there. And then I'm going to grab my basic grids. So we've got these on the show. So you get a straight and a diagonal. So Karen's used the straight one, so we're going to pop that into plate mate. And then if I take, let's take the one, rather than if I take the straight one here, for example, what I love is that using this creates a fantastic infill, and it's another way of colouring in as well. So again, if you're not so confident with your colouring in, go with the designer paper or parchment and go with these grids, because all you're going to do, I'm working on the back and I'm just using the number 2 tool from the starter kit, and I'm just pressing in to the design on the plate. So again, no thinking about what I'm doing. And then you start to fill in that area. So to start off with, you may want to just keep it nice and simple and just go in with the design. Now there is a faster way of doing this. It's sort of cheating. I get told off when I do this, but it is doable. If I take my Groovi guard, okay, I'm working on this aperture here. I've lined up at the bottom, and then if I start at the top,
okay,
I can run the tool.
And will not break the parchment?
It doesn't break the parchment. It gives you the effect. I mean, obviously doing them individually, you'll get a better finish. But because I'm using the number 2 tool, it's a quick way of infilling the design. So you can see here now, as I hold that up, how quick. So you could leave areas out to create the effect of the wax stripping as well. But it's just another way of doing it. If you wanted to do something really quickly, it's a way of doing it.
Okay.
Okay. How are we doing for time, Paola?
We have got about 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. So again, when you look at the design and what Karen's done, Karen has created sort of apertures within it. So what she's done is she's cut away those frames. So again, if you're into your picot cutting, then that's great to do that. So here's one that she's already started on. And to create these areas, see, we use the dies to create the beautiful picot around the outside, but in order to do it traditionally, we need to perforate the holes. So to do that, I'm going to bring in my super foam and picot foam, and we're now working on the front. I'm going to take my 2 needle bold tool and my Groovi guard to rest on to concentrate. And then if I come over on here, can we see that okay? I'm going to work in this area here. Okay, and then I'm going to hold the tool upright, and I'm just going to perforate along the edge. And what I'm doing is I'm going back into the hole I've come out of, so I'm increasing 1 hole at a time. And what that does is it gives me that perfect pitch to get a lovely picot cut. You see, and you get into a rhythm and you go along. Okay, but again, if you want to, you could just perforate. You don't have to cut it out. You'll get another different look. Okay, so that's how you would sort of do the perforating. And then Karen's kindly done one of them for me. So I'm going to use my ring lock scissors. And again, are we still okay on view on this one? If we come over here, yeah. Yeah. Perfect. And then this is the bit we're going to cut out. So again, I'm using my ring lock scissor, and it's all about just putting the tips of the scissors in, and then I twist towards me slightly and snip. And what that does is it gives me that little picot. Perfect. And I love doing this on small areas because it's quick and easy to do. Once you get into the rhythm, it's easy. And I'm going to turn the work so it's comfortable for me. My hand is resting on the black mat. Yeah. Some people prefer to hold it in their hands and do it. It's what you feel more comfortable with.
Paul, I'm afraid we are reaching towards the end of we have got less than a minute to the end of the show, but we can see the effect of the card. Thank you so much, Paul. Will you be joining, I guess it's Haley or Leone tomorrow morning?
8 o'clock tomorrow morning, yep, back again.
Thank you. 8, of course, 12 and 4 o'clock. Now, what's the plan for those hours?
we're going to do more die cutting, we'll do a little bit of stamping, we've got more Groovi to do. Yeah, it's a real mixture and showing how they all cross over with one another.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Paul. We'll let you get on with your evening, and thank you for the demonstration and for joining us through Skype.
You're welcome.
Now, of course, Paul is such a gentleman and so talented. I just wanted to show you finally this beautiful sample that I think is what Wendy has created here with the One Day Special. Those beautiful dies. It's very similar to the second demo that Paul was using, and of course, you can achieve it too if you go for the One Day Special. Do check out your baskets. You know that you have got the choice to, of course, flexify it to split the cost in interest-free payments. Now, after the break, I'm joining Nikki with